I mean, Kaepernick has played and started NFL games, took a team to a Super Bowl. It's way different than a lot of quarterbacks.
I believe in Colin Kaepernick, and he deserves every chance in the world to become a quarterback in the National Football League.
I sure hope so. You know, I've always watched him and admired him, the way that he's played. He, was a great young quarterback.
Because I know I can step on the field and play. Every workout, every opportunity, I've had to show that. And I had my workout with the Raiders last year.
Colin Kaepernick and the Las Vegas Raiders are in the news again. Kaepernick went out of his way to throw a little bit of shade at the Raiders as he looks to join an NFL team in 2023. Would it be that crazy for Kaepernick to go to Vegas again? Our current offensive coordinator has some history with him. Plus, ESPN is saying that Davante may request a trade. Look, it's summertime, it's a dead period for news, but this is just a complete reach. I am gonna go have some pina coladas, but real quick, we gotta break down the latest Raiders news. So hit that red subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. ESPN is wondering if Davante Adams could possibly ask for a trade if everything goes south this season. And yes, Davante Adams is probably upset with the situation of the Raiders right now, but I do not think this guy is going to be able to request a trade, or else it would have happened by now. Now, ESPN Dan Graziano is saying that things could get ugly for McDaniels and Ziegler, no duh, and that the team is a little worse than under Carr and Rich Bisaccia, of course. And Adams could possibly want out either at the trade deadline or this upcoming offseason, and they're basically putting it on the table that it could come to that. But this just does not seem true based on Davante Adams' recent comments. He is critical of the front office. He made that comment saying he does not see eye to eye with them right now, but he's gotten paid, and he's gotten paid handsomely, and he's locked in, and he knows it. When you're looking at the contract here, the only real out in which the Raiders could get out of Davante Adams' contract is until 2025. The only way they could trade this guy after this season would be a post-June 1st trade next offseason, and they would still eat $15 million in dead money cap space in 2025 with 7.8 in 2024. I don't think the Raiders want to eat up that much cap space, and I think they would rather have a celebrity in the building, even if they're not necessarily competing for a championship right now. So Davante Adams, when you're looking at the fine print, he's locked in for this season and next season, whether he wants it and whether the Raiders want it as well. And the reason why there's doom and gloom is because the Raiders have a quarterback problem, a problem that is not going to be resolved until we see Jimmy Garoppolo healthy. He has not passed a physical yet. And also, if we see him healthy throughout the whole entire season, because the likelihood that he re-injures himself is quite high. But another former San Francisco 49ers quarterback may be available for the Raiders, and that is none other than Colin Kaepernick. Remember last season, out of nowhere, the same day that John Gruden got a victory against the NFL in court, there was a flash of news saying that Colin Kaepernick was going to be working out with the Raiders, and it was his first workout with the professional football team since 2016. And you had Mark Davis say that he supports Colin Kaepernick and that he would welcome Colin Kaepernick with open arms.
Our coaches and general managers want to bring him in or want him to be the quarterback on this team, I would welcome him with open arms.
And Mark Davis has spoken before about how he supports this guy. He supports the kneeling. He supports the protesting. He talked about the fact that he supports the Nike deal and that if any one of his coaches ever wanted this guy on the roster, he would have no issue with it. And it really made you wonder, is Josh McDaniels interested in Colin Kaepernick, or is this a Mark Davis thing? Josh McDaniels did not say much when he was asked about the Colin Kaepernick workout that happened last year.
An opportunity to improve the team. We said it from day one that we would look at every opportunity, and not the first player that we looked at, not the last one. So,
and 4 years prior to this workout, Colin Kaepernick was very vocal about the fact that he thinks he's ready to play, and it's all on these other owners to go and hit him up, and he's better than a lot of these other guys.
We'll be waiting to hear from Roger Goodell, the NFL, the 32 teams. We'll let you know if we hear from them. Ball's in their court, we're ready to go.
And the reason why this workout between Kaepernick and the Raiders last year had some legs was because Mark Davis not only spoke positively about it, but the fact that the offensive coordinator of the Raiders, Mick Lombardi, has some history with Colin Kaepernick. He actually worked with Colin Kaepernick while Jim Harbaugh was the coach of the Niners, and also Chip Kelly. And he even had Michael Lombardi, the dad of the offensive coordinator, talking about this relationship that they have and the fact that Mick has some good insight on Kaepernick.
I mean, Mick has seen the best of Kaepernick, and then he's seen the worst of Kaepernick, which was the Chip Kelly era. So he's seen both, and I mean, obviously, he's taken a team to playoff games and won playoff games. So
And the new potential minority owner of the Raiders, Tom Brady, we know he has said some positive things about Colin Kaepernick before.
Just watched him and admired him, the way that he's played. He accomplished a lot in the pros as a player, and he's certainly qualified, and I hope he gets a shot.
And so if Brady's not going to suit up to save the Raiders, if Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be able to pass a physical, given the fact that Mark Davis likes this guy, Mick Lombardi has worked with him before and knows him intimately, is it really that crazy? Is it really out of the realm of the possibility that Colin Kaepernick ends up being signed by the Raiders and they end up seeing what this guy has? And that is why things are reaching a climax today, as Colin Kaepernick has spoken to the media, not only about the fact that he still thinks he can compete and be a starting quarterback in the NFL, not only about the fact that he is pursuing a team to join this year, but also the fact that the Raiders maybe didn't give him too fair of a shot last year.
The Raiders situation last year, that was Jason Stidham and Nick Mullins, which to me, when you just compare resumes and capabilities on top of the workout and the feedback, it's like, okay, well, obviously there's something else within this decision.
And so Kaepernick sort of throws shade at Jarrett Stidham and Nick Mullins, saying that when you compare the resumes between him and them and the capabilities on top of the workout and the feedback, he mentions this feedback implying that the Raiders said a lot of great things about him, implying that the Raiders said, hey, you're still elite, the workout went great.
The feedback has always been positive. Everything from you're still an elite player to the workout was great, it was better than expected when I had my workout with the Raiders last year.
And he's saying when you take a look at all these things, he should have been considered to be a backup for the Raiders last year. Now, on one level, there's a scheme problem. Kaepernick would not be a good backup for Derek Carr, and I don't think he'd be a good backup for Jimmy Garoppolo this upcoming season. Because he is a dual threat quarterback, you would end up completely changing the offensive philosophy with Kaepernick in there instead of Jimmy Garoppolo. But if Garoppolo's not even on the table because he got that addendum G in his contract where the Raiders could get rid of this guy if he is not able to pass a physical after getting surgery on that left foot. And then the Raiders have Chase Garbers lurking in the background, who is more of a mobile QB coming out of Cal. So this guy could back up Colin Kaepernick if Jimmy G can't go and the Raiders are reluctant to roll with Brian freaking Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell. Kaepernick appears like he wants to play professional football, like he wants to prove himself.
Now, any chance to be able to remind people of what I can do out there, I look forward to and embrace. I look forward to the day that I get to step on the field and show people what I can do.
Which is sort of odd because I've always agreed with Antonio Brown on this specific issue, and I never agree with Antonio Brown, but right here I've always kind of agreed with the guy.
Nah, he don't want to play, man. He was trash, everything.
He was trash? Yeah. Throwing the ball, trying to get back in, though.
Yeah, but he already took the money. Oh, that's cap.
Which is the fact that Kaepernick seems more like he's not interested in playing in the NFL because he makes more money, getting sponsored by Nike, doing these commercials, doing things that don't necessarily damage his body. And who knows why the deal did not work out last year between Kaepernick and the Raiders. We don't really know. There's never been a clear explanation as to why. Kaepernick seems like he's down to be a backup, but maybe he did not see that big of an opportunity to actually play with Derek Carr being the starting quarterback last year, and perhaps this upcoming season he sees more of an opportunity considering the injury status of Jimmy Garoppolo. And remember, Brian Hoyer also played for the San Francisco 49ers, so why not just get 3 49er QBs at this point? Kaepernick has also been promoting his new video game, Wild Card Football. It's a mobile video game, and notice here that he appears to be wearing a form of silver and black. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen for sure, but when you look at all the factors we laid out here, relationship with the offensive coordinator, Mark Davis seems to be really into the guy, and Tom Brady, who's also involved in ownership, seems to like him as well. And if Jimmy G is not going to be ready to go and you got a fan base that is depressed, doesn't want to buy tickets, even people who dislike Colin Kaepernick, even Raiders fans are like, man, this guy is trash. And look, there's a lot of validity to that statement. If Deshaun Watson struggled to play after being absent for a few years, who knows how bad it's going to be for Colin Kaepernick. But even people who dislike the guy would really be interested in watching that show. More people will tune in to watch Kaepernick Kaepernick in the Raiders than Brian Hoyer in the Raiders or Aiden O'Connell in the Raiders. That's a freaking fact. So WiFiWillie is here to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that money talks. And even though there's nothing valid right now to say that Kaepernick is going to join the Raiders, keep your eyes peeled, because once training camp hits and if Jimmy G is not ready to go, I would not be surprised if they pull the mother effing trigger on this. And maybe Chase Garbers, the California kid, could be the mobile backup QB that Kaepernick needs. I don't know. But let me know how you'd feel about this in the comments below. I want to know what you're thinking. And make sure you're subscribed so you get a notification for all my upcoming videos on the Raiders. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.